The Beef and Barnzy Show, brought to you by Bowlersmart.com, trusted by bowlers around the world since 2004. By Lightning Strikes Bowl, home of Bowlers Mart Pro Shop. By Platinum Ford, drive the difference. By Fire Lake Bowling Center, 24 state-of-the-art lanes. By True Grit Coatings, drive on our passion. By Road to Grip, king of them all. By 900 Global, striking worldwide.
Good morning and welcome back to the Beef and Barnzy Show. I am, of course, Barnzy, joined by the inimitable Beef Stew. How are you?
I'm good. I am. Yeah, I'm doing very good. We went with a somewhat of a clickbaity title this morning for the show, and it's not going to be. It comes from one thing that happened over the weekend, but I think we're going to talk about things that me and Chris have tried over times that have changed our perspectives. Just different things over the years. So we will get to that shortly. A little bit of a teaser for Thursday's show. We're going to have JR Raymond come on. He's going to chat a little bit to us. He is one of the few people who's trying to introduce new technology ideas into bowling that aren't named Kegel. So we'll have a chat with him. I think that could be a little bit of fun. He's got some products that he's trying to push, and while I haven't tried any of his products, I appreciate the hustle. So I think it could be kind of interesting. I think some of you guys might be interested in it. So just
for sure. A third never wrong.
Hey, Larry. How you doing? Good morning, Clifton. Nice to see you. Still got the pineapple going. The Aggie. Mario. Yeah, we got some of the usual suspects. How we doing? Yeah, we're doing pretty good. I don't recognize that handle, so welcome to the party. 10 pins 300 morning. Big Trev. Oh, Big Trav, sorry. So a couple of things over the weekend. Jim Stevens, give a bit of a shout out to him. He took over the all-time SASPA title lead. Fairly ironic, actually, that the SASPA number was the same as the PBA number. That was kind of funny to me. Bob McGregor, I think, correct? Yeah, he had 47. Jim won his 48th tournament. I'm not trying to compare SASPAs to PBA tournaments, but winning 48 of anything's a fucking lot. Like, that's a lot. Winning 48 tournaments where other people turn up to try and stop you is very impressive. So shout out to him. Still having that desire to go out there and compete all these weekends. And I think he said something like he took 181 more tournaments than McGregor to get there. And I'm like, how many tournaments have you bowled?
181.
Now, maybe he said it took him 181 to get there, which was more than McGregor, rather than 181 more than McGregor. That would make more sense, I think. But
yeah,
I mean, like, everybody's making a big deal out of it. We've all fried out. Have you seen this? What they're talking about?
I did. Of the fryouts,
it's so minor. Like, somebody who's like, I expect Storm to have words with him. What? Tyler might call him and laugh at how much of a prick he made himself look like having to walk down the lane to get the ball. I don't think he's going to be saying, don't do that ever again. I think he's more likely to go, ha, 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 you idiot.
Yeah, I saw this one too.
I didn't see that, but that's a lot of strikes.
The 11th frame. There's 4 on a pair, and that pair shot 1177, 3 300s. And one wanker got 7. So
I did that twice last night. 2 277s. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure we got a shout out to Jim because that, like I say, that was pretty cool.
That's wild. 36.
Speak
I have to, at the current rate of 3 per year, I'm gonna have to bowl for another
100 years.
10 years to get to the 47 number, I think.
Yeah. What are you at? About 6 or 7?
I don't know.
Yeah. I think I looked the other day. I think because I was amazed that Vito was at 2.
Really?
How seriously he's taken both of those things over the years.
Yeah, just didn't bowl. That's all that means.
Speaking of trying things and playing off last week's show, have you guys tried the physics blackout at 1500 with Power Edge? It made a really nice compliment to my Excel. I'm wondering if that was just me. Yeah, I think we both played around with the physics blackout shiny. The one that I had that I quite liked, I had like a 6 3/4 inch pin on one, or 6 1/4 inch pin. We were messing around with layouts and it was shiny. When it was dull, it was totally useless because it transitioned so fast with it being so close to the track. And but once I put shine on it, it was pretty good. Yeah. I didn't mind that at all.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not quite as shiny as a Vibo, but it might end up being, because it's a little quick for a big, I don't know, quick, slow. That one moves around a lot.
Didn't care much for Prayford before, but after the fire, new respect, fucking gold. Yeah, I mean, I mean, the only thing that's irritating about Prather is that he's like literally everybody in the world says, I want to throw it like him. That's the most irritating thing about Prather. He doesn't do anything to anybody. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a little red ass in him.
Yeah, we saw that one. Yeah. So the what I was really what brands of pins do you like bowling on? The ones that fall
Twisters.
for me and not for anybody else.
Twisters.
String. I don't necessarily care, to be honest. The ones that have the flattest bottoms are the ones that I like the best because less of the bullshit strikes carry.
Yeah, I mean they each have their things. There's not really that many out there anymore, but there's basically twisters
and I think that like outside of the other pins, I think
and there's lens pins. I guess there's like 3 types.
Yeah, but I think it's a bit like cornflakes. I think they're all made in the same place.
I think lens is actually separate from the Brunswick Amflats are actually in the same place, and the twisters are both brands of those are made in the same place. There's a Brunswick twister and a twister.
How did you like your look at Cowtown last weekend? Lee is trying to be a troll. Yes, we had almost the exact opposite scenario while 2 big tournaments, well, big-ish tournaments were bowling in Dallas at the same time. You had the kickoff across town where the lefties basically had air, which so
Tyler McLaren shot 1,300 for 5.
No.
Same pattern the next day.
He wasn't there. He bowled with us.
Who'd they say? Ryan told me.
No, it was Johnny Arago. He's a 200
Johnny
righty.
Arago. No. It's not Arago.
Holloman bowled 1,400, but
who?
Holloman bowled 1,400.
The second day?
Yeah, but Ryan didn't think they were that close the second day when I was chatting with him to the first day.
Well, he's in the dungeon for half of it too. So
yeah, I did find Trey Autry won the internet yesterday. I don't know whether you saw it. He was talking about his tournament coming up in Longview in a couple of weeks. And he said, I've been thinking about it, and usually I put a pattern out, but now I think I'm just going to go with the Plano Super Bowl house shot. People weren't enjoying themselves too much score-wise at the weekend.
It was unbelievable because they're still easy. They just aren't Plano easy.
Yeah, they were just quite short, so they hooked way more in the middle than I think people expected them to.
Yeah, the gutters are a little tighter. You couldn't throw it all the way to 5.
I've never bowled in planer where my ball would cover that many boards, because usually it would just burn up before it covered that many boards. So I was kind of surprised, but we have a super chat and it's maroon, so that usually means it's good. Although I don't know what our dollars are. Maybe help me out with that one. Anyway, I am a two-handed ball with 18 miles an hour, 420 RPMs. Okay, so you're actually somewhat similar to me. Yeah. For some reason, I hate the phase 2. I understand. Drilled 2 different ones, and none of them rolled that well for me. It's not totally unusual for people to not like the phase 2. Loved the ion solid after hitting it with 3K, but don't know what to use in the phase 2 slot.
A lot of people right now are using the Rockstar in that slot.
Yeah.
If you're a little more higher rev rate, Optimum Idol or some players are using it in that spot. But I think with you being closer to Stu and I, from a speed and rev rate standpoint, I'm not sure that one's quite enough kick.
I was about to say, for me in that gap, I don't hate if you're liking the ion solid. I don't hate if you could get a hold of an XL. I wouldn't hate that either in that gap. I know it's going to be a bit different for the phase 2, but you don't really like the phase 2. Yeah, I mean, I would take one of the milder cover asymmetricals to fit above the ion solid. Because I think maybe you just don't really like the symmetrical deal as much, because ion solid being asymmetrical, same cover as phase 2.
Could just go with Equinox in that slot.
Yeah, I'm just not sure that it'd be enough more than the ion solid for me.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, that's just a couple of perspectives. I'm sure there'll be some more options coming. Thank you. Thank you. The New Mexico Open. Forgot to give a shout out to Dallas Leong.
Happy for Dallas.
Him and the Purple Power and his spare ball. Got the win there. It was kind of interesting watching him and Simo like throwing it over their left toes. It was 47 feet, I believe the pattern was, but it picked up pretty quickly. Chatting to Frankie anyway, that's kind of So Simo actually lost pretty early, and with the way the New Mexico Open format is at the minute, I'm not sure it's going to stay that way, but they do 1-game matches once you're in the losers bracket. So for Simo to lose fairly early on and then get through that many rounds of one game is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the 1-game losers bracket format.
Me either. One of the reasons why I didn't leave. Anyway, let's get to the topic.
47 feet, and it was Purple Hammer versus Pitch Black.
It was when Simo was bowling in the final. He was using a cove by the end.
Oh, to use a cove at the end?
Yeah. When I was watching the match, I don't know what he used earlier, but he used a cove. I mean, to be honest, the difference was probably about 3 feet front to back and about 2 inches left to right. Because when the patterns are like that, the balls almost make no difference. The lane and the pattern take over a lot of the time.
Got the most stable ball that had traction.
Yeah, pretty much. So anyway, what I was talking about when I said this totally changed my perspective, I shined the shit out of my cove, and it went from being a ball that I was never going to take out of the bag, never going to take out of the garage, to a ball I might never take out of my bag. It was a wild change for me. I know it hasn't been quite as large of a change for Chris. Ironically, having seen how much difference that made, I shined up the Origin EX because I have somewhat the same issue with that ball being a little bit too smooth down the lane and kind of not being able to really open my angle up with it at all. And I haven't seen the success I've had with this Cove and how much more I can basically hook it as much as I want to now. I was kind of pumped for the Origin EX and it made no difference to me. Now, I know a lot of guys have had some success with shining Origin EXs and they've thought they were better. Like for me, it barely made any difference. It was a bit like when I shined gems. Like it just hooked the same shape. It was just further down the lane.
Yeah, I didn't have that success with gems, but it made the Origin EX way more useful for me. Obviously, I was one of the first ones to shine the Cove, and I thought it was better. But I tried it again last night. I got it on at the temperature of molten lava, and yeah, it's
marginal.
Yeah. I just we'll wait to see what the urethane ruling looks like, and maybe I'll put surface on it and like a 3-inch pin, and then maybe it'll get some use then. Yeah,
like I say, for me, it does exactly what we were talking about. I was saying to you last week, where I said it kind of it doesn't change direction as much in the front, so it kind of stores the energy. And once I had it shiny, it was like total game changer for me. I bought 190 the first game of kickoff. The moves came at me a little fast bowling with Ryan. Then I got into the Cove and Ryan's like, really, you're going to throw that thing? And I kind of had like spare, but they were good spares, like the shape and everything. I got like my feet and eyes in the spot I wanted. I only missed twice the last, what would that have been, like 22 shots or 21 shots? Yeah, it was basically remarkable, the difference it's made for me.
And Ryan shot 800 with it too on the last 3 games, and so it becomes the shiny ball that rolls in the mid lane and blends the wet dry out, and that's what I'm hoping for. Now, Louisville's not generally that place for me.
Yes, no,
I used a Gremlin with surface on it last night, so that's kind of what they were like, and felt like I had to kind of catch it. So, yeah. So I mean, it just is for me.
This is an interesting perspective. Nico says, but do you want the tournament to take hours? Yeah. If I get in the car and I drive 13 hours, you better fucking believe I want the final to take a while.
Yeah, this whole thing that we have to have formats that don't take any time, that everything's about time and not about actual quality of format or trying to determine the best player that day.
I mean, the other scenario is it's pretty simple. You don't have a match play at all. And you just do what they did before. And you just count the pins. And then the bowling in the qualifying actually would count. And you go from there. The fact that you can lead that tournament on a really hard pattern, go the next day, the guy throw 2 Brooklyns at you, lose a 2-game total match, which isn't exactly great anyway. And then you're in the losers bracket and it's a 1-game match. Like, that to me is a little rough. Like, they got plenty of entries. They did well. Like, I think people appreciated the re-entry format. I like the re-entry format. I just don't want to bowl that tournament in that format. Like, I probably should, because given my diminishing skills, that's probably my best chance of winning a tournament. I just don't want to feel like I was one of the best 2 or 3 bowlers at a tournament and I come 32nd. That's just the way it is. Like, I really don't give a shit how long we're there, to be honest. Like, I'm going to go bowl Longview. We're going to be there all bastard night, hopefully, on Saturday.
Yeah, you're going to bowl till 1 or 2 o'clock on Friday night. And if you bowl well, you're going to finish at 2 or 3 in the morning on Saturday night.
Yeah, only if you're the winner of the winners bracket.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to be 3:30 or 4. But yeah.
Probably true.
I think we've done just about everything.
Yeah. I'm actually a fan of, lately I've put a fresh 2000. So taking a fair amount of polish, actually added, I wouldn't say a lot of surface, but a fair amount of surface, and I like the way it rolls like that. It fits that gap pretty well and gives me like obviously more shape than a Ion Max or the big slow balls.
You're kind of using it so you add the surface for the somewhat to make it pick up, but because it's a much weaker cover than those balls you're talking about, it's still going to get through the front part of the lane where you
Yeah, it
kind of
still
struggle with
clears,
some
and
of
so it
those
becomes
balls.
kind of a heavy angular type ball for
Mhm.
me, to where I can throw it on longer patterns and still not have it burn up quite so much, and it's quick enough to actually get me some shape at the end of the pattern.
Mhm.
And so,
Yeah, I mean, I think me and Chris see somewhat similar things out of the Gremlin. I'm not going to use it in the way Chris is using it, but I have the reason why I feel like Chris is using the surface is because he wants to make that hook window a little longer. I just see it as a ball that I've got to it's more of a niche, but not niche because that's a negative connotation on this, but it's really good for me when I need a ball that's going to go down the lane and like make a sharp turn while not being too far left.
hmm,
Um, I now have that semi often. Like I could actually see it being kind of useful on fresher, easier patterns where you kind of need pop down the lane. Um, what it isn't going to be useful for me is being way left late in blocks, which is a bit how it's being marketed. Um, it just gets too forward for me to do that. Like I can't cover miles of room on the lane. And I think Chris is achieving that by doing the pin down and doing the kind of the surface and kind of trying to lengthen the hook window to make it
yeah,
um continue around.
yeah,
So I do think that the Gremlin is going to be way more popular with ladies. I think they're going to really like that ball because you're just going to see more motion down the lane than they're used to seeing out of other options we have.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I have another gem. It's not going anywhere, including Ryan.
I found Chris an extra one, and I said to him I'd be very mad with him if he ends up giving it to Ryan.
No, sir. No, sir. Adam, I love you, man, but
A $5 super chat ain't getting it done. Yeah. Was that a super regional? I did. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
It was guessing it was
Fury
Minster.
Fury ended up beating Keplinger, so
Yeah. Keppel 299 on that ladder.
wow. He barely shot 200 in the game against Prather, and then he had to double in the 10th for 200 against Fiore. And Fiore
Yeah.
shot 210 to beat him. They looked plenty hard the rest of the time.
Yeah. I think it was one of those things where it was you just have like the miracle where you just throw probably 8 or 9 amazing shots, and the one that you throw bad, you just get lucky that it still like gets
Yeah.
online. You know what I mean? And like the other guy's like, "How are you doing that?" And you're like, "I don't know." We've all been on one of those.
Yeah. Yeah. He's and Kep's been bowling. He's been bowling good. So what do you guys think about using a polished black hammer 78 for a better rolling spare ball? Uh, it's kind of like people use a mix for if you don't want it to skid, you want it to roll without really going anywhere. That's kind of that's a way to do it. Um, and so, you know, it's out of the beholder. Some people like to see their ball shaped some. They don't
Yeah.
like it to.
I mean, I think that would be a really expensive waste of a black hammer. And I also think that unless you have your own personal spinner, the labor on getting a black hammer shiny might be kind of spendy because it ain't going to be something. It isn't just like, hey, I just took polish. Oh, it's shiny now. So Nico's negotiating for you. He said maybe if you make that super chat by 100 He might give you the gem. And Adam goes, I would probably pay another 200 for it. Yeah, I don't think retail is going to get it there, Adam.
Hard.
Yeah. Also, totally illegal for us to do that.
Yeah.
Well, not illegal, but
sell balls. That's not what I do. But.
So, for you, like, can you think of any time when you tried something different and it just like totally changed the way you looked at like,
Yeah, I mean, we've done that with balls before, and that's kind of, you know, people tend to, if you bowl good with a new ball that not everybody has, everybody wants to scream
yeah,
from the rooftops about it.
I really meant just like in your game period, like, you know, you saw something and you did something, just you did one thing differently that you never really thought about. Like, I'll give you an example, right? I started looking at sparing the 3-6-10. I've spoken to you about this a little bit differently, where I decided that I was going to, because in general on that spare, my miss, I get my shoulders open a little bit and I get a little late and I miss right. So I started deciding that I was going to really try and push the 6 into the 10, like hit really high on the 3-pin. And that was the way I was going to shoot it. And once I started, you know, with that mindset, you know, being way far left and really trying to hit higher on the 3-pin, suddenly my spare percentage on the 3-6-10 like went up massively. Like feel like if I leave that, I don't feel particularly uncomfortable shooting it. Like now,
because you're not trying to hit the right. You're not trying to make the 310. You're just basically.
I'm really trying to force the 6 to hit the 10. If I get the ball to hit all 3 pins, I've missed right. But I miss right so frequently as opposed to left that it's way better for me to be in a position where if I hit my target, I'm going to smash the 6 into the 10. And if I do my miss, which is probably an 8 out of 10, if I'm going to miss left or right, I'm still going to spare it. And then I just kind of pray that if I do miss left, I miss by miles, and then I'll just spare it anyway because I'll just hit the 3 into the 6. But that's just an example for me. Like I made that change like probably 3 years ago, and my overall spare percentage like shot up shooting that spare. And I know you spoke about when you started working with Baker and that, like you had those kind of epiphanies about like, you know, when you were bowling on TV shows and kind of knowing what you miss made it a little easier and stuff.
Yeah, that was certainly, and we have talked about it on here, but it's been a while. But yeah, I understood I had a miss that was, and it didn't show up all the time, but TV had become its own beast for me at that point. And so when I really wanted a shot, I would start to lean in, and by getting a little forward and the ball went up, it pushed me more forward, and then I would get steep, and I'd throw shots that were online, but because my hand was, you know, up the equator a little bit, you know, more on top of it at the bottom than before, I would just miss it. And with adrenaline going, your feel and touch isn't quite the same. And, you know, you're kind of running them out for the 2-pin or worse. And once I understood what that was, unfortunately, it was in the late 2000s before we ran across each other. But then my performances on TV got way better, especially, you know, at the end of games. But the number of shows I was making by then had changed a little bit. And so the opportunities went down. My win percentage went up.
Yeah.
That was certainly one of the things. You know, you see things all the time, though, when you look around. And, you know, I'm crossing with Chris Warren, and he's starting to hit him. You're like, huh. I didn't really think I could, you know, that I could get my axis rotation that use that much and still strike. And then you start to do it, and you go, oh.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like I say, I do find that's one of the coolest parts of bowling is like just trying things that like really change the way you look at Like I chatted with Andrew at the end of the season with a couple of tournaments to go, and he's like, the way he explained what my hand was doing was very interesting. He said, your thumb is going in one direction and your fingers are going in the opposite direction. Because I was doing that. As I threw it, my hand went like that.
Your
because I was
thumb's
coming
going up
over
the way
with
and your fingers are rolling away from it.
Yeah.
You're kicking it to the right with your hand.
Yeah.
With your fingers.
But of course, you just talk about thumb down and you don't really think, because there's sort of like, there's never really good thumb down, but there's thumb down you can get away with when your whole hand goes that way a bit, even though Pete doesn't do it, a bit like Pete does it, where his fingers still go, it was like that. And it was just like, and as I say, it was just, he gave me a different viewpoint. And I think that's the thing about coaching. Like, shitty coaches tell you the same thing over and over and over again. And if what they told you worked, you wouldn't need to be told 4 times the same thing. Whereas good coaches will tell you something and they might tell you again. And once it's clear that you're not really doing, like having any success with what they're saying, they're going to go, let's look at this a different way, and they're going to go through a different, like, let's try it this way. And this might help you. So
yeah, the best thing any coach can tell you is help you. I feel like every player, no matter how good you are, has a miss.
Yeah.
And along the way, you probably have 2 or 3, but you get down to where you have one miss that is your biggest character, your physical flaw. And I always felt that if I could manage that one, then I could play it at a pretty high level, pretty consistently. But I had to understand, oh, wow, that one went left. This is how I fix it. And so I didn't have bad nights. I just had bad shots. And then immediately you could fix it on the next shot and did not do that. And, and
almost
so,
have your own care package, so to speak.
Yeah, basically, you don't have to super detail it. Obviously, I was way more into that whole thing and managed it from a second frame on. But just knowing what your thing is and then going, Ryan, all the time now, you can just show him a video. I don't have to say a thing. He throws a couple of shots that are a little loose and you go, here you go. And he goes, he understands his own game and go, all right, I'm whatever, I'm diving at. And he can fix himself. And then and then that part goes away. He goes back to throwing better shots. David, thank you again.
Interesting question. And it will always end up with that depends. But if you had an equally good look with different balls, but one is at 12 at the arrows, the spot where most people are throwing it, and the other one is at 17 at the arrows, where maybe 1 or 2 people are playing it, which one would you choose? And like I say, 100% depends. If I felt that the one at 12, I was bowling around with people who couldn't really move much left of 12, then I'd probably be okay with it 12 because I could just move a little bit to 14 and you'd have all of them making it perfect. If I felt like all those people were going to make the same moves as I did, then being at 17 is probably where I would be, because you were going to be ahead of the transition. And if you've got the same look as you had at 12, all of those people at 12 are going to eventually have to get to about 17.
Yeah.
And by the time they get there, you'll have already moved to 22. So that would be my take on it.
Yeah. I mean, the old adage, the earliest rolling ball that goes through the pins wins, kind of thing. But generally speaking, unless it's just a place where that straighter carries better, and there are a few of those, say North Rock, we know some places that really being straighter speed-wise knocks them over more than angle. Being left of the field, it is a very normal strategy for high-end bowlers. So,
and being honest, if you can stand left of everybody, bowling really isn't that difficult.
Nope, there's always hook to your right, and there's always all to your left. And the breakdown happens slower because there's less traffic. And I mean, it's why every kid that gets good fast generally has the highest rev rate. Most of the time they're not the most accurate, but then they figure out the accuracy part and then they become a problem.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of interesting. Like when Marshall first hit the scene, his rev rate wasn't really that high. He's got more and more like aggressive. Sometimes it's grabby, sometimes it's just really aggressive
Yeah.
over time. But when he first came out, you were like, oh shit, he's definitely going to be a problem because he's not better than everybody else just because he can hook it and they can't.
Yeah, that's not it. But there's fewer guys like, say, Josh Blanchard was the first one that had a good rev rate, but it wasn't crazy high.
Yeah.
He was just a talented, versatile, accurate player. And that's a tough way to make it happen as a young player. It's not the easiest way. But in general, I would start at 17 if your ball's hooking enough and probably is a little bit stronger ball anyway. But if it's a little bit earlier at the same time, it's going to read the transition better. Now, if you're standing there with a quick ball, then I would go the other way, I guess. So about 17, it depends, but that's as good as we can do on a general.
Yes.
I heard Jim Callahan mention that if you have a ball that doesn't lane shine up, keep that ball. It's a special ball. I think in general, there's covers. Why, right?
Yeah, if it's your thing, then definitely keep it. The other balls,
some covers just lane shine.
Yeah,
and I think most of them lane shine. I don't know that there's.
Yeah, I mean, I don't 100% know the context in which he said that.
Right, me either,
but I can imagine what he was meaning, and
yeah. And he says his doesn't really lane shine. Well, that could be it because I think way more often this is what happens.
Yeah,
that is a cover that tends to likely you're under the undersurface was quite high.
Yeah. And then the other thing as well is like if your Rockstar doesn't lane shine and it sucks, then it ain't that special, is it?
Yeah, I had a Rockstar that had a bunch. I mean, it came out gray-ish.
Yeah.
It had a lot of extra surface on it. And no, it did not shine quickly, and I wanted it to because it was too early.
Yeah.
So I had to help it along the process a little bit.
I had a little bit like that in Chicago with mine. It came out pretty dull, and like Chicago was not the place I wanted a dull ball. Hey Richard, yeah, thanks for all your support of the show. Richard was the top donator to the Striking Against Breast Cancer charity stream. I don't really change the surface on my Equinoxes. I kind of like that ball shiny.
I think we tried it and we decided that was not a ball that we liked better.
Dull,
yeah.
I mean, I might cut the surface a little bit with like just graze over it with the 2000 just to take the very top of the polish off it, but not like so I could tell. It would still look like a shiny ball from a distance type of deal. I didn't really see the point of it dull.
It was way too early for me.
It doesn't really go through the pins when it was dull for me.
How many games do you hit the balls? Yeah, here we go.
How many games do you hit the balls with Abralon when bowling tournaments? Well, this 100% depends. If we're bowling on a place that has tons and tons and tons of oil, and I'm using like a shiny ball, like so. For example, when we bowled the tournament that I won in Lubbock, I was hitting that Gremlin as often as I could because I needed it to peel down the lane. Just 1 second. Wow, thank you, Richard. That's very generous. So yeah, back to work today. About a month before I can catch you again live. Well, you take care of yourself.
Thanks, boss. Good luck with that Equinox, and appreciate all you did for Donna and Lucy, and a great cause there.
So thank you again.
But back to like when I'm using 2000 on a ball that lane shines quick, I mean I might have to do it every block. which is to say 6-8 games. If I have 500 on it and you're bowling on a ton of oil, I might have to do it each block. But generally speaking, I can get multiple blocks out of that 500. I don't have to make it super early again.
Yeah, I think the only time I have to add more surface is when I use like kind of a shiny type pearl ball that I add surface to, because I think it tends to, it might be total bollocks, it might be total nonsense, but it feels like it really tries to get back to the shiny faster.
Yeah,
that's definitely my perspective on it anyway. So when the odd time that I end up using one of those pearl balls and I put a bunch of surface on it, I feel like I have to do it quite often. So as almost basically every time I have the opportunity, with just regular dull balls, like say a rock star, I mean, I don't really keep track of it. It's kind of like I'll throw it, and if it feels like it's going too far down the lane, then I'll touch the surface. And if it doesn't, then I probably won't.
yeah. Once I get it to where I've determined, hey, I like it out of the box or whatever, then I just throw it until I go, hey, it's not picking up, and then I try and get it back to that original surface, and whether that's 500 or 1,000 or 2,000, depending on how strong the ball is, I just refresh it back to that original state as close as I can. But I tend to leave them until, like you said, you go,
it's not really responding.
It's not enough anymore. Okay.
Yeah. If I tend to leave the 210 a couple of times in practice, I'm running like a little child in a sweet store. I like to get back to that Avalon.
Digging through my bag to find the right pads.
Shit. I didn't bring one with me. What kind of ball motion has a high tendency to leave 7-10? I leave at least one every 8 games. A ball I think that you leave the 7-10 more often when your ball is too far down the lane.
Yeah, it gets behind it.
Too far down the lane. You can leave it from flat, but I don't see it as much. Like when I'm 7-10 and a lot, like I 7-10 a lot of Plano, like of places that I bowl semi-regularly, I would say my 7-10 percentage at Plano is higher than it is in other places. And generally it's because I end up forcing the ball down the lane a bit too much. And then I can leave both ring 7-10 and that kind of blower 7-10 type look.
Generally speaking, it's in behind it. So the 5 pin's getting pushed behind the 7 pin. It's just a half pocket hit where your break point's a couple of feet too far down the lane. Plano's sometimes the other way, where it's kind of that little crumbler half 7 with a flat 10, which is odd because it's also a place where carry is well above average, which is why the scores are so high. But you also probably 7-10 a little bit more, and maybe it's just because it's the evening out part. I don't have.
I do feel like you leave 7-10s more often with shiny balls and dull balls. Like I don't know the science behind that. It just feels that way.
So. Let's think about that one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like for me, I'm talking about like
right.
I just feel like that's where
it pushes you too far down the lane, and then it's
and it's a more violent.
Gets behind, and it can't quite. It just gets in behind.
It doesn't make us. It just isn't really quicker through the pins, and I think that it tends to straighten up a little bit more through the pins as well. Whereas dull balls, when you're hooking them, they tend to continue through the pins a little better. I feel like if you can create a big angle. So, hey, Paulie, nice to see you. Yeah. Yeah, we try to we try to keep it fun while also not bogging it down too much. Yeah, this was my conversation with Lee Lortz. Lee got a fairly fortunate strike, and it wasn't like outrageously fortunate, but it was a bit weird the way the pins fell. And someone said something to him about it, like on another lane while we were playing them. And he said, well, I have 15 to make up for from yesterday. 15. We only bowled 5 games. And I said,
Whoa.
Lee, you hit the pocket 60 times because it was impossible to miss them on your side yesterday.
Yeah.
If you weren't going to get 9, there'd have been multiple 1,500 blocks. And that's when I started going off with Paul about, like, I just would love some of the guys to be able to tape their whole block and just sit with them and go, that one shouldn't strike. Like, you would enjoy bowling more if you understood that that one shouldn't strike.
Yeah.
Oh, Adam, you dig it in. Oh, Adam, you're the best. I probably wouldn't get the gem. I'm more of a reality guy. Oh, shit. He's pushing your buttons. Oh, Adam, you're the
he's
best.
providing entertainment today. I like it. He's our guy.
I'm not necessarily saying it'd be better. I'm just saying that it would give, if you want to get left and really rotate, like go around the lane, I think that that's the only way that it's going to work, or the best way it's going to work with that ball for me and Chris.
Yeah,
it being down.
It flares a ton, and so the up one I put surface on, the down, and I need to actually go a little bit stronger down one, I think, and if I'm going to leave it shining.
Somebody asked that earlier. They were talking about what would be for somebody who is somewhat matched, what would be a good distance down, layout wise. And I said that for like my thing is I need to drill it at least half an inch stronger when I go down to achieve about the same amount of motion, because it's going to flare differently and it's going to do all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But for about the same amount of overall hook, like, for a ball to make sense anyway.
4.5 by 3 by, what is that? 4.5, I guess.
Because I do a lot of like 5.5 inch pins up. And when I go down, I very rarely drill them weaker than 5. Because once you go down, like, you end up reducing the flare and yeah. So if you go too weak and you go down, especially if your track's a little higher, they can do some kind of weird, unpredictable things, I feel.
You do that, you're doing it because you want to play straighter. So you wouldn't do it with a ball that's that big.
Yeah.
I do that with the 040 diff balls and some stuff where I'm trying to get it to tumble and stay in front of me, which, because of the urethane amount of play, isn't really a thing anymore. You have to either go around the urethane or use it. And so those type of 5.5 inch low, would be like 5.5 by 6, by 4.5. Those things aren't really, those aren't really in play a whole lot these days. It was balls I won a bunch of tournaments with back in the day to keep my angles a little shallower and especially in the Brunswick days. But yeah, it did. Not really a thing when you have all the carry down and longer patterns. It's more on a 39 foot without a lot.
Anything in the line that's close to the High Road Nano? No. Like high RG ball with a super strong nano cover, symmetrical. No. There's nothing.
I mean, Ultimate Record's probably closest. And I'm not saying it's close.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it's a pretty big cover. It's high-ish. It's not 257. It's 254.
Yeah, it's just that nano cover was like that. It came really.
That one was really big, and this cover's not as big, but it's bigger than the High Road 40. It was earlier than the High Road 40 and Road Warrior and some of these. So that's the closest thing you got.
That was a very, very. If you want to talk about niche, that ball was in that gap. So my wife has requested that we have a little chat about this Savage Bowling memes post today. It's babies, right? So this is Jacob, hence the urethane. Then we've got AJ. Obviously Andrew. That one looks just like Andrew. That could have been one of Andrew's baby shots.
Yeah.
This was Bill O'Neill. I didn't really see that one. There you are, Ryan's dad. There's Ryan. Almost better than dad, but not quite close to mom yet.
Okay.
Ethan Pure. This was just taken a couple of years ago.
Yeah, right.
Dick Allen. EJ.
AI is so good now. It's just
there's Packy. Looks a little chubby for Packy. Rash with the integrity brick. Kyle Truth. I love the fact that they've given him a fork and not a pick.
receding hairline at 18 months. I like it.
I'm guessing that's Frankie. Yeah, it is. I'm just looking at the yeah, that's pretty funny. Bug Crawl. They got that. The proportions pretty good on that one. Jasper looking miserable like Jasper, like a lot of the time.
Brad and Kyle.
Oh, Brad and Kyle. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense now. Yeah. Okay. Zach Wilkins. It could be Zach Wilkins' baby picture.
You're right. Harry.
I'm guessing that this one. Actually, I have no idea who this one is. At one point, I thought it was Nick Pate because it says the house, but I guess it's not. Yeah, I have no idea who that one is. Yeah, don't know who that one was supposed to be. Is that Spider-Man? Yeah, I don't know who that was supposed to be. There's Balmo with his water bottle.
Vi?
Oh, it's supposed to be Mitch. Oh,
Hoope?
Vi? No.
Vi or Hoope? They were asking. Nathan Moore?
Yeah. There's Prather. Good old Simo. Yeah. D-Tang with his pineapple.
Wow.
Tommy. Oh dear. Kevin Williams is the last one. So yeah, I just thought that was quite entertaining. So that was Savage Bowling memes for you. We got another super chat here from Adam.
That's not
a solid.
Well, that would be the opposite of reality and Gem. I mean, Ion Max is probably the closest thing right now. And we actually just discussed this. I just ordered another one. I watched Linda's go down the lane. Now,
Ion Max.
Yeah, and was surprised at how good it looked.
Yeah, and I agree. I like that ball a lot.
Yeah, I think it's time for me to cycle back through because realities and gems are one I'm dating out, where I don't have any to use.
Yeah, it's like
anymore.
You get to the point where you just don't have any available. It's like you need to start to future plan.
I need to find one that's going to be legal. So, if I don't bowl as much on the regular tour, then I don't have to worry about that. But yeah.
Alan Riley, weird. The first time Simon beat me, he did look just like that picture.
The first time I saw him, it was close to that. Him and Wesley Lowe were both 12 at the time.
And Wesley was much better than Simon because Wesley peaked about 14.
That's generous. But it turns out that Simon had already hit puberty at 12. And Wesley grew another foot. I did come back because I was back on tour then. And so my youth tournament, I come back and I'm like, why are the two highest averages in the tournament the kids in the 12U division, 13U division? Like, what is going on? And I'd heard of Simo, but I hadn't seen him because he's on the other side of town and youth leagues. So, youth leagues, I watch my kids bowl.
Well,
And so,
I was about to say,
I mean,
then it
yeah,
wasn't the only show in town.
yeah, it wasn't the only place to go. We went everywhere on Bold, and so Plano wasn't the only joint then. And then so I go down and watch. I go, Simon, oh yeah, all right, I've heard of him. That's and then the other kid, I'm like, he's from California. I said,
Yeah.
what is going on here? I call up Baker and I go, hey, there's some kid from Visalia or whatever it was. He goes, oh yeah, I've been coaching for about a year. Ah, he goes, yeah, he's legit. And then I watch him and he's actually moving around in the lane. I'm like, does he know he's left-handed? You're not allowed to change dots. You just throw it the gutter.
Yeah, I mean,
And we were
Wesley,
down that low end before it turned into the dungeon, and so 1 and 2 you can play the gutter, and he just like moves in and makes 7 or 8 the gutter. And I went, he's 12. I'm watching all these 18-year-old kids. None of them are doing that. And the two highest averages in the tournament end up being those two guys.
It's great. I mean, I tease Wesley. I mean, he's won a lot of tournaments that aren't on the PBA tour. But yeah, he was so good as a youth bowler.
Oh.
Like just
if you know, you know.
and if you don't, a prison shiv will explain it to you.
Yeah, right.
Oh well, I don't know I have anything else for you, Chris. Been a pretty good show.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to JR. I mean, obviously, we've added a third never wrong to the group, and so
yeah, we've had him on before to chat about when he said that all old bowlers suck and the youth were much better.
Yeah, and he, I think, like us, is okay with someone disagreeing with us.
Yeah,
we're still pretty sure we're right.
Yeah.
but you're okay yeah. You're entitled.
I'm okay with you being wrong.
Yeah, you're entitled to your wrong opinion. So.
That is one of my favorite lines when they're like, yeah, but no, it's fine. I've come to terms with it. I can live with the fact that you're wrong.
We're good with it.
I'm still gonna be okay. But yes, yeah. Things are moving along. I'm bowling a tournament in Killeen this weekend. What are you up to, Chris?
This weekend, nothing. Nothing this weekend. Ryan has left for Sweden, going to Denmark first, and yeah, we got a lot of T-shirts that we really need to. That's how this whole thing started. We bowled doubles together. Team Never Wrong.
Well, yeah. I mean, it should have really started when we had the PBA League team. That was ultimate Team Never Wrong. Me, you, Dom, Blanchard, Nathan. Just early. Sounds like Chris's ball reaction. Oh shit.
Yeah,
so
well,
yeah. Fun times.
Looking forward to Thursday. Yeah, we have that coming up in Longview the weekend after.
Yeah. And then I'm off to England for a couple of weeks. So yeah, we will see how everything goes. Oh, you're bowling. Is that Linda is bowling doubles with Troy?
Doubles. No, that's me. I got.
Okay.
I got. He's got to get the backpack out because I know he didn't seem to have any trouble bowling at playing over the weekend. He bowled the same 630. He always bowls there. I'm not sure why everybody thought it was so hard. So.
I'm just looking at the finances of it. I enjoyed being like compensated with some lefties money because if there had been any brackets over at Cowtown, I would have been giving it all to them. So the fact that no lefty made a dime at Plano and no righty made a dime over at Cowtown was kind of ironic on the same weekend. Are you talking about Texas A&M?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's definitely
that's
telling us
unusual.
we should leave. Chris's connection is dying quickly. So, thanks for the show. Please support the sponsors that are very kind and
They were
support us.
definitely you.
They are Storm, Rotogrip, 900 Global, Fire Lake Bowling Center, Platinum Ford, Lightning Strikes, and I probably missed one because I didn't do it in order. But Bowlers Mart. But we appreciate all of you. Thanks for all the people who super chatted. Thanks for all the people who made the show what it was today. And shine up in Cove. I will see you on Thursday with JR. Take care. Have a nice afternoon. Bye-bye now.